This is a PSA. So 3 years ago, right around this time of year, I ran out of blood pressure meds. No big deal. One pill left and 0 refills. Yeah, this is John Freitag calling. I ran out of blood pressure pills. I wonder if you can call in a refill for me. I'm not sure. It's probably been quite a while. Oh, you want to see me first? Okay. I guess we'll make an appointment. All right. Okay. Tuesday? Yeah, that works for me. Thanks. Well, just got back from my doctor's appointment. They put in a new prescription for the same blood pressure meds. My blood pressure, it runs a little high. It's not horrible. I don't know, maybe it's horrible. It's usually the lower number's 90, which is the bad one you got to worry about. I don't know. You know, it is what it is. I just got a little high blood pressure. But anyway, Brittany up there, the physician's assistant, talked me into getting some blood work. She said, when was the last time you had blood work? I don't know. She looked, and it's been like 2 years. So I got to do some blood work. And this area, we have a lot of problems with prostate cancer. And with my dad died of prostate cancer, and my brother had it, and my 2 nephews had it. They're both younger than me. Not a lot younger, but they are younger. And so I said, yeah, you better do the PSA. Just see what it does. Because I've had them before, so I have a baseline PSA number. I guess that's how it works. So we'll see what happens when I got to go in tomorrow, get my blood taken. It'll take a couple days to get the results. Whew. Well, I just got back from the lab up at the hospital, and they drew some blood. Not a big deal, you know. Nobody likes needles, and I certainly don't either, but it's not the end of the world. They just put a little jab in your arm. Took out a vial of blood, you know, about that big, and well, see what happens when the results come in. Yeah, what's up? Oh, you got the results of the blood work, huh? Okay. What'd you find out? Uh-huh. So the PSA is slightly elevated. All right. What do you want to do? Okay. Can we do something in the morning? Tuesday? 8:30? All right. I'll see you then. Thank you. What's PSA? Prostate specific antigen. So I went up and had my doctor's appointment. Basically, that appointment was just about them telling me my PSA was somewhat, actually quite slightly elevated. What that could mean, positive or not positive. A lot of times they're false positive. And the next course of action was to see a urologist. So about the middle of February, I had my last appointment with a local physician. I set up an appointment with a urologist, and that was right around the first week or second week of April. Well, I went to my specialist appointment. Well, I wound up telling him, you know, he gave me the same kind of talk that my local doctor told me was, you know, it's not conclusive, it's this and that, we'll have to check things out. I said, Doc, I'll be shocked if you tell me I don't have it. Because like I said before, I've my dad, I've got my brother, my nephews, 2 of them, and I could probably list 10 people in the locality besides them that have had it. So I was pretty certain I had it, and I really wasn't shocked. And I told him, why don't you take it out right now? he kind of laughed at me. He said, no, we can't do that. We have got to do some testing first. So the first test was an MRI. He said those are not usually conclusive, but it'll give us an idea what we're looking at. Insurance may or may not cover it. And I said, well, what's it going to cost if it doesn't? He said, probably around $2,000. I said, well, you know what? We'll go with it, because if I have to, we'll do a payment plan. And it's a good first step. So we did that, and sure enough, it showed that there's something suspicious. Well, in the whole broad scheme of things, that doesn't tell me anything. It just tells me there's something suspicious. So the next step was getting a biopsy. Well, that was where it took away all doubt. It was cancer, and it was an invasive type. So the next step was there had to be some surgery done. I had to get that thing out. But before I can go get my surgery done, there's one more hurdle. Turns out somewhere along the line, I can't remember exactly what it was, I think it was the MRI, showed a spot on my hip. So, what does that mean? A spot on your hip. Have you ever had an injury or something like that would cause a deformity or some kind of different marking on the bone of your hip? I can't think of anything. So that meant I had to get a bone scan. So the day I got the bone scan, I went down, it was a pretty early thing in the morning, went to Wilkes-Barre, got the bone scan. It took about an hour and a half, and it was probably about 11 o'clock at that point, and I told the Empress, I said, well, we're halfway there. Let's run down to Jim Thorpe and get something good to eat and walk around the town a little bit. We went to Jim Thorpe, and I was quite nervous. The Empress was quite nervous because I just had a bone scan. We didn't have the results yet, and we didn't get the bone scan for nothing. There was some reason that the doctor wanted to get it. And of course, we're thinking there's possibly some kind of bone cancer or something, which means that either I've got bone cancer or the prostate cancer all metastasized. So that's what I was worried about, and that we really were worried about it. And while we were there having a drink at a really nice little pub, I got a phone call, and it was a doctor telling me that the entire bone scan came up clean. Well, that was a load off my mind, I gotta tell you. But you know, another thing is, when you have a faith in God, it helps you through things like this. I know for me, it was incredible how much it calmed me, it kept me steady, having a faith and knowing that people were praying for me. And that's what leads me to the morning of the surgery itself, where as I was getting prepped, I was thinking, man, I just felt calm. I could feel the prayers that people were giving me, which I'm forever thankful for those prayers and for the Lord for just calming me. I was calm. So the surgery went off pretty much without a hitch. Things went very well. And the good news is this: the next morning I saw the doctor, and he had told me that he believed they got it all. Amen. That's great news. He said it was encapsulated. We think we got the whole thing. The only problems I had after the surgery, I did wind up with a bladder infection, which was problematic, but not terribly. Once the catheter was taken out, that's another thing. When you go through the surgery, you're going to wind up with a catheter, and that's going to be a 2-week thing. And it's quite annoying. It's not something great, but hey, you got to do it, so you do it. So I think the bladder infection did delay my recovery time. I mean, I wound up being down and out kind of for 8 weeks. They were talking more in the range of 3 to 6, but I pushed it beyond that, and it was about 8 weeks before I really started feeling back to my normal self, to where I could get up and go and do my thing. After I had the next routine PSA, which is a prostate-specific antigen test, it came up as undetectable. So that is great news. So it's not showing any prostate-specific antigens in my bloodstream. So that's good. There's nothing coming back from that. So that was all really good news. I feel really good now. I have had nothing but undetectable PSAs, and we are heading for 3 years in August from the surgery date. So pretty much 3 years since I found out about this prostate cancer deal, which I knew sooner or later. I just knew it was going to happen, where I was going to wind up with that. Too many people around here have it. Now, is it all genetics, or is it environment? I don't know. There's no way to really tell. I wasn't like a lot of people right away. They get online and they decide they're going to find out everything they can find. I didn't do any of that. I just kind of relied on God. I guess mostly that's what I relied on. So anyway, the whole point of this story is get your PSA checked. I hope this video helps somebody. You know, if you have any of the risk factors, genetics, if your father had it, if your brothers, somebody in your families had prostate cancer, that puts you at a higher risk. Also, I'm not a doctor, by the way. Also, if it's in your region, like in my case, it's like up and down the street, everywhere on the hill where I grew up on, everybody there is getting it. That's another risk factor. So getting a PSA is a first step. It's a good one. There's also the snapping glove test, which Nobody likes that, but mine was inconclusive. He didn't notice anything. So the PSA was really the thing that tipped it off in my case. Your case may be different, but it's definitely worth getting. Probably the reason I'm making this video is I have a buddy who is about 6 months younger than I am. And I asked him, oh, he had told me he had his physical done. I said, oh yeah, did you get your PSA done? I said, nah. I said, what do you mean, nah? He said, well, doctor said I didn't really have to get it. And I said, well, I said I'd fire him because that is your first line of defense. It's a simple blood test. At least get a baseline, find out if that changes. At least it gives you an indication. Because the other detection methods other than the actual biopsy did not show cancer in me. So it was a matter of the PSA that got me started, and then eventually got to the point where I had to get the biopsy done, which was not a pleasant thing, but it had to be done. But that was conclusive, and then we went from there. So anyway, that's just my prostate cancer story. Right now I'm very happy that I've had nothing but good reports. Thank God. Oh, anyway, I hope you guys liked this video. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We'll see you on the next one.